Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador could easily testify against Senator Chris Van Hollen when and if or when there's a Logan Act trial. Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, aren't only looking at Letitia James's mortgage fraud scandal. They're also looking at possible indictments of a Democratic senator that flew to another country. So now we are leaving the confines. We're leaving the borders of the United States of America. No more domestic policy. Now we're looking at foreign policy. You could say, well, there's still domestic policy involved. Not when you're talking about trying to convince the government of El Salvador to return an individual that was either wrongfully, in this case, sent. It's still foreign policy because it's a negotiated deal between two countries. Whether or not the Supreme Court ruled that Trump should facilitate the man's return is irrelevant. Whether or not he should facilitate his return is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, it's a foreign policy, negotiated foreign policy agreement between the country of El Salvador and the country of the United States of America. You will hear President Bukele state his thoughts, and those thoughts, and hit subscribe to this channel if you're new, those thoughts could be testimony in a trial used to convict the Democratic senator for trying to alter U.S. foreign policy. He's on record numerous times. Really quickly, before you hear President Bukele, they went after Trump. New York Times, why the Trump team should fear the Logan Act. Did Trump fly to another country to alter U.S. foreign policy? No. Did Trump try to blackmail anybody during a phone call? No. Even the president of that country said he did not. Categorically, Trump did not. Yet he was still impeached, of course. Then you have Chris Van Hollen really quickly admitting numerous times, and especially, it's still on X, his video right here. We'll listen to this really quickly. Then we'll get to President Bukele's possible future testimony against Senator Van Hollen.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting.
The goal is to let the government of El Salvador and the United States government know the Democrats will keep fighting instead of pushing legislation in Congress or campaigning in 2026 on laws, legislation through Congress that could protect undocumented immigrants accused of crimes and protect them from deportation. Why don't Democrats run on this? So they can, why? In the comments section, why don't Democrats run on passing legislation that would protect undocumented immigrants from deportation? Because they know it's not popular nationwide. And so they would rather have publicity stunts with this Democratic senator flying to another country to alter existing U.S. foreign policy. The Supreme Court ruling has nothing to do with foreign policy. You can say that's one element of it, but another element is two countries negotiating. President Bukele of El Salvador and President Trump of the United States of America. This is testimony from President Bukele that can be used as testimony in court. Check this out. This thought process, or what President Bukele states, could be used to indict and convict Senator Van Hollen.
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to have suggested that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right? How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world to the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world. No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Island, I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President, no, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States.
Like I always say when I talk about this segment, God bless the wonderful, amazing families of undocumented and documented immigrants from El Salvador, from Venezuela, from Mexico, from the Middle East. God bless all the wonderful people in this country. Okay, even if you're undocumented, God bless you. What President Trump and Trump's administration and the reason he won the popular vote, the electorate wants immigration laws followed and enforced. It has nothing to do with the good, wonderful, amazing people from these countries. It has to do with preventing individuals from any country, who are perhaps have a criminal background or perhaps are not vetted and could commit heinous atrocities like we've seen, okay, in the past couple of years, in past many, many years. And so President Trump is not like Senator Van Hollen and Democrats who work on public relations stunts and just think that, okay, well, a person who shouldn't be here is undocumented and perhaps commits the most heinous atrocity, takes a mother away from her family and ends her life potentially in the most brutal, barbaric manner. That's just something we have to deal with, just because Biden and Democrats have allowed millions upon millions of human beings, even if the vast majority are amazing and beautiful and wonderful. The liberal Democratic Party mentality is, well, we just have to deal with. I mean, do you expect nobody to commit crimes? The reality, however, is that we have laws to protect American citizens, just like El Salvador has laws to protect its citizens. President Trump is actually protecting the country, ensuring that people are vetted, ensuring that people follow existing laws. You can't simply allow the entire universe to enter your country without any process to vet individuals, to make sure the individuals don't have criminal backgrounds. Now, Mr. Garcia, the gentleman in question, could have found Jesus, could have found Jesus, Allah, Hashem, some, God, religion, changed his life, and God bless him. If he's a good father, good family man, God bless him. Okay, he should be with his family. Why don't Democrats pass legislation? Oh, that's right, because they lie through their teeth all the time. Because Democrats don't want to pass legislation through Congress to protect undocumented immigrants who have been accused of criminal backgrounds or of criminal behavior, because the existing laws don't allow that. And then the Democrats say, well, there's a due process. The due process ends still almost always in the person being deported from the United States of America. So Democrats, this is simply a public relations ploy. But let's continue.
It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women.
The foreign policy of the United States is the president decides the direction of foreign policy, not lower court judges, not the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court recently said that Trump couldn't use the Alien Enemies Act. That's because there's pending court cases in lower courts. Okay, they didn't decide on the actual. From what I understand, they didn't decide on the actual case, the actual law itself. I could be wrong, but from what I read, it was unsigned and it was I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was because there were pending lower court cases on the matter. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. The Logan Act prevents Democrats or Republicans from unilaterally altering U.S. foreign policy. A president has the power to do that if he's elected. A Democratic senator does not have the power. Hit subscribe. Thank you.